There was a time when magic was real, not because people believed in fairy tales, but because they understood something deeper. They knew how the world really worked. They knew that thoughts could move energy, that sound could heal, that symbols held power, and they used it. Today, we call those things superstition. We call them primitive. We call them unscientific. But what if we were wrong? What if those ancient people weren't behind the times, but ahead? Because now, for the first time in history, science is beginning to confirm what they always knew. Let's start with sound. In ancient temples, monks chanted specific tones to enter altered states. Shamans used drums to induce trance. Sanskrit mantras were repeated not just for meaning, but for frequency. Every sound carried a code, a vibration. Now science has caught up. We know that certain frequencies, like 528 Hz, 963 Hz, and 40 Hz, can shift brain waves, can reduce anxiety, can heal tissue, can stimulate the pineal gland. What was once dismissed as spiritual noise is now used in medical labs, and the results are measurable. Cells respond to sound, water changes structure, the body tunes itself to vibration. Let's talk about breath. Ancient yogis used pranayama not just for oxygen, but to control energy, to awaken something deeper. They knew breath was a bridge between mind and body, and now, modern neuroscience shows that deep breathing resets the nervous system, slows the brain, increases focus, activates the vagus nerve. It changes blood chemistry, reduces inflammation, and allows the body to heal. They didn't need machines to tell them this. They felt it. Emotion is another one. Ancient healers believed trapped emotions created illness. They used rituals to release grief, shame, anger. They didn't separate the mind from the body. It was all one. And now, we have somatic therapy. We know trauma lives in the tissue. We know unresolved emotion changes brain structure. We know the body remembers everything, and releasing emotion leads to real physical change. What about intention? For thousands of years, people gathered to pray, chant, or visualize. They believed group intention could shift reality. That energy responded to focused thought. Now, quantum physics is showing us that the observer affects the outcome, that consciousness impacts probability, that particles behave differently when watched, and research into group intention shows it can influence outcomes far beyond chance. Let's look at sacred geometry. The ancients used symbols like the flower of life, Metatron's cube, and spiral patterns. They built pyramids, temples, and cities aligned with celestial bodies. They encoded geometry into everything. Today we know these patterns appear in nature, in atoms, galaxies, plants, and even DNA. They're not decorative, they're structural, they're part of the blueprint. Even water remembers. Dr. Masaru Emoto's work showed that water holds memory, that it changes based on intention, emotion, and sound. Critics dismissed it, but more recent studies on structured water and frequency show the same patterns. Water is programmable, and we are mostly water. The lines between science and spirituality are not dividing, they're merging. We're starting to realize that the ancients weren't guessing, they were practicing. They were living in alignment with natural laws that we are only now beginning to measure. And manifestation, it's no longer a mystical concept, it's neurological, it's energetic. Visualization activates the same brain regions as actual experience. Repetition creates new neural pathways. Emotion signals the body to prepare for what it believes is real. Belief shapes biology, and identity becomes reality.